Hey yogis, welcome to Limitless Yoga Studio Online. My name's Kelsey. This is Watson, and today we are going to be doing twists. So for props, you're going to need 2 yoga blocks, and then we are going to do some myofascial release of the low back towards the end of class. So highly recommend 2 tennis balls or 2 myofascial release balls. Watson, you got the other one? Okay, there we go. 2. There we go. Okay, so to start out, go ahead and throw on your favorite playlist. Gather up your props and then meet me in a laying down position, supine. If your low back is grumpy, absolutely bend the knees and plant the feet. If you're feeling good, maybe lengthen out the legs. Hi, bud. So take a moment here just to capture the breath. I want the breath to always be supporting our goals. So take this time to monitor how deep your inhales are and how complete your exhales are. As you inhale through the nose, make sure that you've relaxed the jaw, drop the tongue from the roof of the mouth. As you exhale, make sure you've unfurrowed the brow, drop the shoulders towards the floor. With each inhale, I'm going to encourage you to stretch out the lungs to their max capacity. Nothing forceful, nothing stressed, but with each inhale, you might sip up just a little bit more air, encouraging it to go to every nook and cranny that you have in the belly, in the rib cage, and in the chest. We're going to slowly work towards 360 degrees of breath around the waistline. And then with just a few more cycles of breath to go, you might count how long your inhale is and compare that number with your exhales. And with these last 2 cycles of breath, you may choose to inhale what you need for class, whether that's a little bit of energy or maybe a little bit of patience with yourself. And I encourage you to exhale anything that you need to set aside, whether that's your to-do list, something that's kind of crowding the corners of the mind, maybe taking your awareness away from this mind-body connection we're trying to build. Last big cycle of breath. Gather up what you need for class and do your best to set aside the rest. All right, let's flutter open the eyes. Take a full body stretch. Reach the fingers, reach through the toes. Lengthen yourself out. And then gently gather the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze here. We're going to wiggle the toes, roll out the ankles. Take a moment to get out the pops and the creaks. And then begin to rock right and left over the low back. So starting this first little rock here. Watson, you are not helpful. All right, if your low back is extra grumpy, you might lift the head and scrub the muscles of the low back up and down the mat, kind of taking those sheets of tissue and sliding them together, which can feel pretty lovely. Get out a little bits of tension. And then when you're ready, I'm going to tee the arms out to the side, drop both knees over to the right for our first twist. Now do your best to keep the left shoulder grounded here. Take a big inhale to lengthen the spine. And then exhale as the air leaves the body. You might be able to deepen into that twist. From with the belly and bring the knees back to center. We're going to push the heels up and down just a few times to work the back line of the leg, kind of stretching through the hamstrings and calves. And then after this last big extension, bend the knees, pause, and head over to the left. This time the right shoulder is going to want to try to pick itself up off the mat. So do your best to keep it down towards the floor. Big breath here. Exhale, maybe deepen the twist. Firming up the belly, bring the knees back to center. We're going to start bicycle kicks here. So big motions, or you can go as fast as you want or as slow as you would like. And then choose to stay here. I'm going to add in the upper body. So I'm going to take the hands behind the back of the head. My right elbow goes towards my left knee and my left elbow goes towards my right knee. There's very much a Watson in the way of this. All right, so rather than focusing on the knee to elbow connection, hi buddy, I want you to see if you can peel your shoulder blade up off the floor. So see if you can measure by the back of the body rather than the front of the body. We're here for 2 more rounds. Watson, you are so in the way. All right, there we go. Stretch out your right leg flat out against the mat. Take your left toes all the way across the body. Second big twist here. And again, try to keep the shoulders grounded. Big breath. And then bring that left knee back to center. I'm going to reach my right hand up overhead. Big inhale. On your exhale, slice that right arm across the body and try to tap the arm to the leg. And again, I'm trying to measure this by how far I can take my shoulder blade up off of the mat rather than how much my arm touches my leg. All right, last one here. Big squeeze of the obliques, and then set it down. I'm going to extend out my left leg, bring my right knee in, and toss it across the body. Reach the toes. Try to keep that right shoulder blade grounded. Take a big breath here. All right, firming up the belly, bring that knee back to center, left arm up overhead. So slice your arm across like a sword, trying to tap the arm towards the leg. So arm bone to thigh bone here. We're going to need that big reach across for our peak pose today. Again, pay attention to your shoulder blade and how far it's coming up off the floor. We're going to do this 3 more times. Hopefully feeling those ribs kind of squeeze closer together as you squeeze the obliques. Last one here. All right, from here, I'm going to stretch that right leg straight up into the sky, firm up the belly, and start a scissor kick. Now, I only want to go down as low as what my low back is comfortable with. So if you feel it start to peel itself up off the floor, then you know you've gone too far with the legs, and just kind of keep them a little bit higher up towards the ceiling. Okay, we're going to be here for just a few more moments. And again, you can stay right here, or I'm going to take both hands up overhead. When my left leg comes up, I'm going to stretch my right arm across. And when my right comes up, I'm going to stretch my left across. So big motions here. Kind of ridiculous looking, but very effective for this twisting of the obliques to get them fired up for what we're going to need towards the end of class. Last one right, last one left, and then bring both knees in. Take a breath. I'm going to rock up and down the spine here for a moment and then pop myself up to a seated position. Once you're sitting up nice and tall, relax the chin down towards the chest. We're going to roll out the neck. Take at least one big circle in each direction, but you are more than welcome to take a couple more if you need to, especially if you're getting out some crackles. Once you're finished, we're going to take the hands to the back of the head. So start a gentle twist right and left. The idea is that you're working your heart towards the right side of your mat and your heart towards the left side of the mat. Maybe slowly increasing that range of motion. Stay tall through the spine. Those puppet strings being pulled up towards the ceiling. We're here for 3, for 2. On this last one, I want you to head over to the right and pause at your max and then pulse at that in range of motion so you're firing up those obliques again for 3, 2, 1. Head over to the left, find your max, and then pulse from that like 80 to 90% of your range of motion for 3, 2, 1. All right, bring it back to center. We're going to inhale, hands up. Use your complete exhale to wring yourself out like a sponge as you twist to the side. Inhale, reach up, create as much length in the spine as possible, and then full exhale to twist in the opposite direction. Inhale, rise up, spine like a slinky, gathering length, and then exhale, use that length to find your twist. Okay, we got one more inhale up, one more exhale to the side. All right, this time inhale, hands up. As you take your max twist over to the right, pause. See if you can keep wringing yourself out like a sponge through the midsection and then lift those arms without coming out of the twist. Those obliques are fired up. Inhale up. Exhale, second side. So find your max twist first with the arm against the leg, and then continue that wringing out of the rib cage, and then maybe try to lift up the arms and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, take your karate chops forward. You're going to take your right arm, grab a bow and arrow string and pull it all the way back, and then shoot that arrow forward. We got 2 more like this. Big motion to twist and release. Last one, we're going to hold this twist, hang out, hold, see if you can squeeze out maybe 1 more degree of motion, and then right hand comes forward to pause. Left arm takes a big sweep back like you're pulling that bow and arrow string all the way back and then letting that arrow fly. 1 more. Open up the rib cage to the left side of the mat. Hold, keep wringing yourself out through the midsection and then let it go. Inhale, hands up overhead. Exhale, hands are going to come behind you, all right? So you're going to set your feet about hip distance apart here and then make sure that your wrists are in a rotation that's comfortable to bear weight because we're going to be lifting, all right? So pressing through your footprints. Take the buns up off the mat and then bring yourself back down. So kind of warming up these shoulders and wrists as we lift and as we lower. Now we're definitely going to be using the glutes to lift us off the floor, but try not to squeeze so hard through the glutes that you feel any kind of compression in the low back, okay? So keep your lifting and your lowering, or I'm going to add in a twist. So as I lift, I'm going to take my right elbow and my left knee to tap, and then I'll put myself back down. I'll lift, left to right, put myself back down. So if that's a little too much, you can always just lift a foot, just kind of doing half of the twist. You can just lift an arm if you want, or you can put it together, okay? We got 1 more round if you're doing rights and lefts. Lift and lower, and then bring yourself on down. I'm going to sweep the feet back behind me, roll it on over to hands and knees. You're going to land with the shoulders stacked on top of the wrists and the hips stacked on top of the knees. Spread those fingers out so you've got gloves, not mittens, and then gaze between the thumbs. On your inhale, gently drop the ribs towards the floor, and then exhale, push to the palms, arch the ribs, and tuck the tailbone towards the nose. Now, as you come up and down a few more times, I want you to make sure that you're prioritizing the length of the spine. So you're constantly trying to increase the length from the nose to the tailbone. And then because of that length, you're going to be getting more of that up and down motion. Okay, one more up and down, getting every last little bit from every vertebra. And then I'll see you with a nice neutral spine. We're going to take the right foot behind you like a kickstand. We'll inhale, right hand comes up. Exhale, put it down. Inhale, left hand comes up, so you're wringing yourself out in the opposite direction, and then bring it down. 2 more like this. Inhale the right. Exhale down. Inhale the left. Exhale down. Good. Last of your 3 rounds. Inhale up. Exhale down. Move with your breath. Inhale up. And then exhale down. This time, inhale the right hand up and pause. All right. Keeping that right foot grounded. We're going to reach the arm underneath the rib cage for 3 big twists. Maybe increasing that range of motion each time. And the next time the hand is up, take it behind your head. Now we're going to go elbow towards elbow. So this might feel like a harder twist, but we're just getting rid of that shoulder and we're relying a bit more on the twist of the rib cage, which is at the end of the day what we want. Okay. All right, hands come down, knees come down, switch out your sides. Left foot steps back as a kickstand. Inhale, left hand comes up. Act as if you're stacking the shoulders. Then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, rise up, wringing that midsection out like a sponge, and then bring it back down. Move with your breath. So if you're moving faster or slower than me, that is completely fine. This is our third of 3. The last one. All right, so we're going to take that left hand up and pause here for a moment. Solidify that right shoulder and then dig underneath the rib cage, keeping the belly firm, trying to get that max range of motion. And then after this third, you're going to take the left hand behind the back of the head, and then we're going to go elbow towards elbow. Again, this might feel like a more difficult twist, but it's because we've taken out that big shoulder motion and relying more on the rib cage motion. All right, back down to hands and knees, firming the shoulder heads into their sockets by magnetizing the thumbs towards one another. We're going to step back into plank with our feet hip distance apart. Take an inhale. Exhale, press back into down dog, relax the chin to the chest. So your feet are hip distance apart. If you want to walk the heels one at a time to get through the calves, you're more than welcome to. And then make sure that your shoulder blades are activated but not forced, meaning they shouldn't be up in your ears, but they also shouldn't be forced down your back. You want that 50-50 kind of a push, not a shove. Take a big breath. All right, looking forward, stepping forward. I'll see you at the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. We've got 2 sun A's. Here we go. Inhale, rise up, open up the chest. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, right foot steps back. We're going to drop that right knee. Inhale, rise up. And then exhale, find those karate chops forward. We're going to take that left hand and make a big bow and arrow for 3, and then forward for 2, and then forward, and then a last one. All right, bring the hands down. We're going to step back in a plank, rock the tiptoes and lower to the belly. Maybe use the knees to do so. Okay, from here, bend the knees. We're going to rock and roll the feet right and left. So you're getting this really nice massage-like twist through the spine. We're here for 3, for 2, and last one. Curl the toes under, bring it back to plank, push it back into down dog, lengthen yourself out. Take the right toes up in the sky, big inhale. Exhale, kick your foot all the way through, drop your back knee. Inhale, rise up, spine is nice and long here. Exhale as the karate chops come down, so do the shoulder blades. Right arm's going to grab that bow and arrow string just like we did when we were seated. Hopefully feeling a little less restricted through that rib cage as you take your last big twist. And then the hands are going to come down. You're going to step forward with your feet hip distance apart and your knees bent. Right hand takes center stage. Inhale, left hand comes up. Exhale, switch it out. Inhale, right hand comes up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Place the palms together, thumbs to the back of the neck. Try not to flare the ribs here. Take a big breath. Exhale, bring it all the way down for our last sun A. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop that back knee. Okay, inhale, rise up, seal the palms, take your sword and slice it as far over to the right as you can. As soon as your arm connects with your leg, you're going to sweep that right arm up into the sky. Then hit the rewind button as the hand comes back to create that sword to lift up overhead. 2 more like that. Big slicing motion, fingernails towards your mat, rise up into that windmill, and then bring it right back to center. Last one, maybe fingertips reaching even further down to the floor, open up, hit the rewind button, back to that sword shape. All right, hands come down. Slide back into plank. Rock the tiptoes lower to the belly. Okay, this time we're only going to bend the right knee. We're going to take it up, over, and across for a little twist here, and then bring it back. Bend your left knee up, over, and across. So you're just gently massaging this twist through the spine. So don't overdo it, and recognize that one side's going to feel different than the other. They're going to look different. They're going to feel different. So you're going to have a different pose or a different position of the legs. Back to plank, back to down dog, lengthen it out. Inhale the left toes up into the sky. Exhale, kick it on through, drop your back knee. Inhale, rise up so we can do that sword on the second side. Reach the fingers towards the floor, open up your wingspan, and then bring that hand right back to collect the right hand. Rise up for the sword. Slice it over, fingers towards the floorboards, open up your windmill wingspan, bring it all the way back up. This is our last one. Slice it on over. Big twist as you press the leg out into the arm, and then bring it all the way back up. Inhale. Exhale as the hands come down. You're going to step forward, feet hip distance apart, bend the knees. Right hand down, left hand up. We're going to pause this time. On your inhale, can you lengthen the spine a tick more? And on your exhale, can you twist a tick more? Bring it down, switch it out. Right hand comes up. Big inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to turn the ribs. Hands come down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, we're getting into our sun bees next. So go ahead and grab your blocks, take them to the top of the mat. We want them about shoulder distance apart here. And then we won't need the tennis balls until the very end of class, so you can make sure that they're not going to get in your way. All right, here we go. So as we take these sun bees, there's an option of what's called a vinyasa. If you're not quite sure what that is, no worries. You're going to follow me. I'm going to give you options. But, this practice is your own, so feel free to make it so. With your feet at hip distance apart at the top of the mat, coming into our chair pose. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, take the hands to heart center as you push back into the sitting bones, making sure the toes are nice and wiggly light. As you take the right elbow to the left knee and the left elbow to the right knee, I want you to glance at your knees to make sure they're not walking back and forth. We want to keep them very strong and stable in space, so we're not taking anything in the low back. Last one right, last one left, and then take it down, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, vinyasa. I'm just going to take my first one by stepping back into down dog and staying there. So you can always take that option if you need. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, you're going to kick your foot all the way through. Now, as soon as you're there, pause. Right hand is going to reach back behind you to windmill up towards the ceiling. As soon as he's there, you're going to hit the rewind button. Hand comes down. Spin your back heel down. Left hand rises up, warrior two. Okay, now that's going to be our flow. So it's really important that you pay attention to that back foot so that we don't take anything into the knee. As we cartwheel down, we spin the back heel up. Right hand reaches for the ceiling. And then he's going to hit the rewind button, come back down so that we can spin the back heel down and come up into warrior two with that knee tracking through the middle of the foot. Okay, cartwheel it down, spin the back heel up. Right hand reaches for the sky. Rewind, back heel down, anchor into the heels, making sure that knee tracks with the middle of the foot. We got one more as the back heel lifts up into that low lunge twist, and then bring it all the way back into our warrior two. Take a big breath. All right, I'm going to straighten out the front leg, reach forward and down for triangle pose. Hand is going to be lightly on the shin or towards the ankle or towards the pinky toe side of the foot. As I snuggle that right hip underneath me, the top hand is going to slowly come down for the twist and then rise back up. Now, I want to gauge this twist on my rib cage, not my shoulder. So my rib cage is turning down. My rib cage is going back up. Keep that right hip snuggled up underneath you. We don't want the hips to move at all. We got them solid in space. We got one more. Heart down towards the floor and then heart up towards the sky. Bend your knees. You come on out of this. Turn the toes to the side. We're going to go heels in, toes out for that goddess position. Just like chair, we want to hinge at the hips and stick our weight back in the heels and the sitting bones. Inhale, hands up. Exhale to the back of the head. All right, we're going to slowly turn right and left. And again, peek at your knees here because if your knees are rolling around in space, then you could be taking this twist in the low back. We really want to solidify the hips so it's just the rib cage getting the work. We're here for 3. We're here for 2. And last 1. All right, hands come down. Walk to the top of your mat. Slide it on back into down dog so we can do the second side. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it through. Okay, your left hand reaches back behind you to windmill open. Act as if you're stacking the shoulders. Then hit the rewind button. As the hand comes down, my back heel comes down. Pressure to the heels as I rise up and stack the shoulders on top of the hips. As soon as I'm settled into the pose, I'm going to cartwheel down, spinning that back heel up. That's important. And that left hand is going to, again, reach for the ceiling. Okay, so as we flow back and forth, be very mindful of that back leg. So we're making sure the back heel is a little further back than the toes so the knee's safe. And as we spin up, that heel's pointing straight up into the ceiling. Okay, let's do it one more time. Pressure to the heels, rise up, firm belly, shoulder blades down the back, and then cartwheel it down. Last low lunge twist. All right, let's bring it back into warrior 2. And we're going to pause here. Take a big breath, reach to the crown of your head, and then exhale, straighten out the front leg, reach forward and down. Okay. Once you're set, pressure to the ball of front foot. Feel free to bend the knee a little bit if you feel like you're locked out. And then we're going to take the right hand and bring it down for the twist. Now remember, we really are gauging this turn based on the rib cage movement. So if you ever need to just take the hand out of it and put it on the hips, that might help you to see where that twist is going as opposed to just your shoulder kind of moving up and down. All right, take one more big twist up and down, solidifying that left hip. And then this time, come up, bend the knee, rise on up. Find the warrior 2. All right, from here, you're going to cartwheel the hands down, spin that back heel up, also down dog, lengthen it out. Looking forward, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. And then you're going to take the hands down to heart center and come back into your chair, pressure through the heels. All right, this time we're going to twist and hold. So my right elbow connects to my left thigh bone. I'm going to make sure that one knee didn't pop in front of the other. Take a big breath up the spine and then exhale, squeeze out the air. Switching it out, left elbow will cross. Sink the chair, press the thigh bone out into the arm. Take a breath. And this time exhale, release it into a forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa. I'm going to do a modification this time by going plank, knees, broadening the chest as if I'm doing a cobra. That way my shoulder heads are rolled back and down for my modified chaturanga. All right, second set. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, kick that foot all the way through. Pause. Right hand is again going to sweep back behind you to open up in that lunge twist. Now I want you to solidify the hips, really squeeze them together as you push into the heels and rise up into your crescent twist. Take a big breath here. All right, that right hand is going to scoop underneath as you lift that left knee up into the chest and then spiral that left hand behind you. All right, left hand's going to hit the rewind button. You're going to bring yourself back into crescent. Right hand scoops underneath for that twist, and then left hand comes down. All right, let's do it again. Squeeze those outer hips in, rise up, crescent twist. Right hand's going to scoop underneath as you bring that left knee into the chest, and that left hand is going to make a big rainbow arch to the back of the mat. All right, bring it on down. Step back, crescent, right hand scoops up underneath, bring it down, solidify your left shoulder to take the weight. Last round, squeeze those outer hips together as you rise up. Right hand scoops underneath as that left knee rises up towards the chest, and then the left hand's gonna spiral. Okay, stay here, or maybe that right hand collects that thigh bone. Maybe you push out through the heel, or if you like full dancing Shiva, you can bind on the pinky toe side of the foot. Okay. Take your time, slowly releasing that all the way back. Hands down, toes down, walk to the middle of your mat. We're going heels in, toes out, rise up for that goddess, and then again, hinge so that we don't have the weight driving through our knees, back through our sitting bones. Okay, this time hands are going to go on the knees. We're going to twist the rib cage towards the right knee and towards the left knee. What we want to be careful of is that we just don't turn this into a big shoulder shove, all right? We don't want to push that forward into the rotator cuff. We just want to get a really nice twist through the rib cage. Last one right, last one left. All right, hands come down. Walk to the top of the mat. Slide it on back into down dog. Lengthen yourself out. Second side, and then we get a little rest. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it through. Pause here. Left hand scoops behind you. Now get ready to squeeze those outer hips real hard. Pressure through the heels as you rise up and find your crescent twist. Left hand's going to scoop up underneath you as the right knee comes up into the chest. And then I'm going to spiral that right arm behind me. Okay, and I just hit the rewind button. I'm going to come back. The left hand scoops up underneath me. And then come on down, right shoulder in the socket to take the weight of the lunge. Okay, bring it right back up. Scoop the left hand towards the front of the mat as you reach up and spiral into that modified dancing Shiva. Bring it all the way back. Left hand scoops underneath you. Bring it down, find your lunge twist. Last one, pressure to the heels, rise up, inhale. Exhale for the front of the mat. Inhale to open. And then maybe exhale, pause, grab that left thigh bone, or if you'd like, you can push through the foot, hand binding on the pinky toe side. All right, slowly release what you have. Take those toes on back, and I'll see you in down dog. We're gonna rest in pigeon. So bring the right knee in, drop the shin, drop the back knee, scooch it on back. And then we wanna check on two things here. We wanna have a straight line from sitting bone to big toe, so we don't have that weird kind of kink in the ankle that's pretty common. And then once we're settled, I'm going to put my hand on my low back just for a second to make sure that it's pretty level here. I just don't want this giant slope over to the right side. If I do, I want to even that out, maybe with the assistance of a block, right? We just don't want a lot of weight driving asymmetrically into that low back area. So we're here for a few cycles of breath, kind of slowing things down for a second. And then we're going to come into a seated twist. For these last two cycles of breath, you might count the inhale and compare that number to the beginning of class. Count the exhale and compare it to the beginning of class. All right, as you bring it up to the palms, remove any blocks that you're using. Firm up the belly as you drop that right leg, and then we're going to bring the left leg all the way around. And then we want to take the left elbow and glue it to the left knee. Okay, I'm then going to straighten out my right arm and my right leg. Okay, so these are called rocking horses. The idea is that this right here stays really firmly connected. If at any point it starts to lose that connection, you can always modify by scooping underneath the thigh bone. Okay, but I want my obliques to squeeze together to keep this connection. I'm going to take a big inhale at the spine. Then on my exhale, I'm going to come back into rocking horses. So as I start to use a little bit of momentum to come up and down, this connection is going to want to get loose. So really squeeze tight, thigh bone into the chest, driving that elbow into that knee crease. And then you're going to take a couple more of these. Last one. And then as you bring it up, pause, cross the left leg over, inhale up to that right side, and then take a big old twist to the left side of your mat. Now, if that thigh bone and arm bone don't want to cross, you can just kind of bear hug it here. What we want to be aware of is that we're not shoving that shoulder forward. We're keeping him back and down where he needs to go. Okay, so one big inhale up the spine, one exhale to press the arm into the leg and find a twist. Okay, we're going to do one more set like that. So my left elbow connects to my left knee. The tighter the connection, the more difficult it is. So if you want to make it more challenging, then go and sneak on down there. Inhale up the right side, and then exhale. Maybe if you want to make it more challenging, you try not to tap the shoulder blades on the floor, and you try not to let that right leg drop. Okay, so it's this kind of tiny range of motion that you really have to use your core as your brakes, but also as your momentum, which is where it gets kind of tricky. All right, one more here, and then cross that left leg over. Inhale up to the right side. Find your twist. Big inhale up the spine. Exhale, turn the ribs. All right, bring it all back to center and uncross. Okay, so that left footprint is on the floor. We're going to sneak the right foot underneath so we can roll onto the shin, plant the hands. Right foot's going to go up in the air so it can step all the way back. Left toes up into the sky, and then bring that knee through for pigeon on the second side. Drop the shin, drop the back knee, scooch it on back, and then again, reach through that big toe so we don't have that weird ankle curve or kink. And then take the time to check out that low back, making sure that it's level. Couple big breaths here, and then we'll do that rocking horse on the second side. You might notice not only the length of your breath, but also the heart rate. Hopefully being able to slow it down here with these breaths. Also your energy levels. Just be respectful of if you're low on energy today, or if you feel like you're good to go, you might bump it up a notch. All right, placing the palms on the mat. Get rid of any blocks you're using. Drop that left hip and swing the right leg around. This time we are attaching the right elbow to the right knee and we are straightening out the left side of the body. Big inhale. Exhale, squeezing those right obliques to really drive the elbow towards the knee and the knee towards the elbow. And then if you want to make it more challenging, you can hover the left leg or hover the shoulder blades. We're here for 3 more rounds, squeezing the right ribs as close together as possible. Last one here. As you pop up, cross that right foot over. Inhale up to the left side, and then you can either cross or you can bear hug. And one of the reasons we want to keep that elbow bent is sometimes when we straighten it, we have the tendency to either lock out that joint or hyperextend that joint. So by bending it, we're still getting the benefit of the twist and the leverage, but taking care of that elbow. All right, as we bring it on back, once again, right elbow to right knee, left side of the body long, and then maybe if you're comfortable with this movement now, you start to up the ante a little bit by hovering the left leg or by maybe not tapping the shoulder blades all the way back on the mat. Okay, we're here for 3, we're here for 2, and last one. All right, right foot crosses, inhale up the left side, take that big old twist, inhale at the spine, exhale, turn. All right, bring it all the way back center. Right foot's gonna uncross. Left foot's gonna sneak up underneath it, roll onto your shin. You can use the blocks if you need to. Left foot's gonna step up high, back of the mat, clear it out, down dog. Lengthen it out, walk it out, get what you need. All right, we got one more flow here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop forward. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, get nice and tall. Exhale, have a seat down in your last chair. Chair twist, right elbow crosses. You're welcome to stay here, or if you'd like to open up that wingspan, that can deepen the twist. Hands back to heart center. Left elbow crosses. Make sure the knee stays even and level here, opening up the wingspan if you'd like. On the exhale, forward fold. Inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, your vinyasa, which could be down dog. It could be dropping the knees. Or if you're interested in full chaturanga, you're going to rock the tiptoes, broaden the chest, elbows to ribs here. Flip the toes up dog with a long neck, and then flip the toes down dog. Here we go. Last set. Inhale, right toes up in the sky. Exhale, kick that foot all the way through. Right hand goes up for the last big crescent twist, low lunge twist, and then hand comes back down. Punch through your back heel for crescent. Inhale, rise up, get the longest possible spine. Exhale, hands to heart center. Keep the long spine as you drive it forward. Left elbow crosses. Now push out into the elbow to keep this connection. You're more than welcome to stay here, or I'm going to look forward, slide my back foot in halfway, and see if I can't hover. Take a big breath. No matter what you chose, everybody's going to take a giant step forward into chair twist. Big breath. And then on your exhale, rise up, hands to heart center. Bring that right knee with you. You're going to cross over funky chair. So it's going to be that similar stretch to pigeon. Then take that sword, slice it over to the left, arm connects with foot. Stay here, or just like we've been practicing all class, that left hand can windmill up. All right, slowly bring it all the way back up. We're going the way we came. Hands to heart center. Chair. Right elbow crosses, chair twist. Look at your blocks. Right heel lifts to the tush. Slowly extend that right foot out, maybe hovering for a second in that twisted flamingo before stepping all the way back. Nice. Big inhale up to crescent. And then exhale, hands come down. Nice work. Hey, down dog. See you there. Last side, last set. Here we go. Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, kick it through. Okay, left hand windmills for the ceiling. Last one of those on the class. Bring it on back. Punch through your back heel. Really energize through those heels to lift you up. Big inhale. Keep the length of the spine as you take the hands to heart center. Lean forward, right elbow crosses. Push the thigh bone out into the elbow so you don't cave the knee. Take a breath. Choose to stay right here or look at your blocks. Slide your back foot in halfway and then use the energy through the right ball of the foot to lift the leg. Everybody stepping forward, chair twist. Everybody's going to rise up, bring the left knee with you. Cross it on over, have a seat. Take a big inhale. Exhale, slice that sword over. Just once the footprint touches the arm, I'm going to windmill open. Funky chair twist. And then I'll bring the hands back together. Going back the way we came. Chair. Left elbow crosses, chair twist. Exhale, gaze down as that left heel goes to the tush. Slowly hovering back into twisted flamingo. Eventually stepping on to crescent twist. Inhale, hands up overhead. And then exhale, hands come down. Slide back into your very last down dog. Lengthen it out. And then go ahead and drop the knees. Okay. If you need to grab a drink or anything, go ahead. Now's your time to do it. Won't need the blocks. We're going to come into side crow. So this is something that you can watch and practice along with me, or maybe you just watch and kind of file it away for later. It was a great twisting class. So you get all the health benefits of twisting. Peak pose is up to you. So the way we get into side crow requires a very, very big twist, hence all the twisting throughout the whole class, right? So the way we're going to start it is we're going to be on the balls of our feet. You might just want to watch this first and then rewind and then do it again with me so that you have all the cues. Basically, if you can give the brain something to watch first, you have about a 25% chance, kind of a head start there. So it's better to watch and then try it as opposed to try to learn and watch and do all at the same time. All right, so when I'm on the balls of my feet, I'm going to sit up really tall for the spine because the longer the spine is, the better twist I can get. I'm going to inhale, right hand up overhead. On my exhale, I'm going to take the biggest twist possible, turning the rib cage to land my arm across the thigh bone, arm to the floor. So now I've got a connection of my thigh bone to my tricep, okay? Then my left hand is going to land plank distance apart, and that's important because sometimes our brain kind of tricks us into thinking our hands being closer together feels a little safer, more snug, more secure. We do want that true plank or down dog distance of the hands, okay? Once I've got it, I'm going to push my snoot forward. Everybody likes to look down, but then that means your energy and your weight is down. You want to look forward, pull forward. As I push to the balls of my feet, now I've got weight on this shelf, okay? As I continue to pull forward, this is the important part. I want to get rid of the kickstand that's closest to my hand, okay? Once I have that, then I'm on this really light kickstand. I can slowly come forward and maybe lift up the second set of toes. Okay, now the reason why that's so important, let me switch over here so I can show you, is that if I were to take away my other kickstand, which is the one your body wants to, the one that's furthest away, you're like, oh, it's easier. Let's do that first. But then it traps all of my weight into this kickstand, making it much heavier and much more difficult to lift. So we do want to get rid of the kickstand that's closest to your hand first, leaving you with just that really light little kickstand so that you can play with possibly lifting it up. Okay, so I'm going to go and do the other side, kind of smooth out the cues for you, and then feel free to, again, rewind as many times as you need and try it. All right, I'm going to be on the balls of my feet. Inhale that left hand up. Exhale, biggest twist, thigh bone crossing arm bone. Land in plank position of the hands. Pull my nose forward until I've got weight on that tricep or that shelf. My right foot's going to sweep out first, pull forward more, keep the elbows driving into the rib cage. Maybe eventually that left foot's going to lift up and take a breath. Then you're going to land back on the balls of the feet and you're right back where you started. Okay, so feel free to give side crow a try if you'd like. Again, beauty of online classes. You can rewind and pause as much as you want. And then once you're finished and you're good to go, grab your 2 myofascial release balls. We're going to do a little bit of low back, just because when we twist, hopefully you were twisting safe the whole time. But if we get a little carried away, sometimes we can twist into the low back because our low back is pretty flexible. So what we want to do now is just scrub away any tension we might have brought to that space. So I want to have a ball in each hand, feet planted, and as I come back, I'm actually going to go into my elbows here, and then I want to tuck the 2 tennis balls or the 2 myofascial release balls on either side of the spine. Okay, so you've got these big ropey muscles on either side of the spine. I'm not on the spine itself, just on either side, tucked as far down as I can reach, okay? So it should be in that low back curve. Once I'm there, I'm going to take a big breath and see if I can exhale, just drop the belly, kind of create a hammock here, right? And then stay here and just enjoy the pressure, or I can use my feet and my elbows to just slowly start to roll that low back curve, okay? I want to stay really heavy here. And then I've got a couple movements here I'll share with you. But again, if it just feels good to be like, oh, that's the spot, I'm just gonna breathe. I'm just gonna relax and let gravity do its magic. Or if you want some movement here, maybe I find a spot that's like, ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to slowly take my knees right and left. Just little movements here. Basically, it's going to put a little more pressure on the right side, a little more pressure on the left side, and it could indicate which side is grumpier. Okay, kind of way to scrub out tension. Okay, then that feels good. I'm going to keep moving on. You're just kind of taking your low back curve for whatever tension you have in that area. And then if you find a spot you're like, okay, maybe I want to try a scrub in a different direction, I can bring one knee in and the other. So this is just taking the spine in a different direction. So rather than right and left, we're going up and down, right? So feel free just to move up and down the spine, find a spot, relax, breathe, and iron out that tension. Or if you find a spot that maybe needs a little bit more attention, you can take the knees right and left. And then when that sensation fades and you're like, okay, this feels pretty good now, then you can keep searching. And possibly if you need a spot where up and down is more productive, then you can try that movement. Okay? If for some reason the shoulders are causing problems, you are able to do this, most of it, from a flat back, but usually there's not as much pressure placing down, so you might feel like the pressure lightens up and it doesn't feel as good or as productive. But again, we don't want to risk the shoulders and cause grumpiness there to get that low back massage. So it is an option to do the same thing from shoulder blades on the floor. And then it's also an option to be on those elbows, which usually just gives you a tick more weight because of that curve. Since it's curved this way, when we lay down, the tennis balls just don't sink into the tissues like they do when you're on your elbows. All right, you got a few more seconds to clear out any gunk. I'm going to rearrange here. And then if you decide that you absolutely love this one and that it's really useful for your low back, then absolutely once a day is a great idea. You want, 3 to 4 minutes tops. You don't want to sit there and do this for 20 minutes and end up aggravating it even more. All right, okay, I'm going to go ahead and come on out of this. I'm going to make sure that all my props are moved out of the way. I'll just roll them out of the way there. There we go. All right. I'm going to roll on down. I'm going to find Shavasana. So if you need a full body stretch or a happy baby or bring the knees into the chest, feel free. If you need to change your music, go ahead, turn the lights down. And then come into Shavasana, that snow angel-like shape. Closing down the eyes. And then we want to follow that 3-step process. The brain loves patterns. So if you can kind of latch onto a pattern, it can be helpful to recreate this each time a little easier, a little smoother. So step 1 is to monitor the breath. We want to be mindful of the inhales and the exhales. We want to make sure that the breath is supporting our goals and that it's sending signals to the nervous system that you're safe, that it's okay to be still, that it's okay not to be on high alert. Take as long as you need to get those breaths under control. If you ever feel like you've accomplished that, then you can move on to step 2, which is to breathe down the body, just taking in sensations. We want to make sure that the brain can take inventory of the body head to toe so it can feel safe and relaxed and on board with the process. So you might notice how heavy the shoulders are, what part of the spine is touching the mat. You might notice how relaxed the hips are, and maybe the orientation of the feet in space, right versus left. And then again, you can take as much time with this step as necessary. But when you feel you really have that awareness flowing down the body, then you're going to turn your attention to your very last step, which is a single point of focus. You want to find something that you can latch onto to anchor you against the distractions that will inevitably occur. It's not thinking of nothing. It's thinking of one thing that you're going to continue to come back to so that you have this single-mindedness. That could be the music you're listening to. It could be hearing the breath and counting it. It could be repeating something positive over and over again, matching the breath. It could be visualizing something peaceful, like matching the sound of your breath with ocean waves. Everyone's different, so everyone has a different technique that works for them. But when you have it, go ahead and hold on to it. letting the distractions flow around you rather than entertaining them. We'll be here for just a few more moments, combining the 3 steps into finding that single-minded stillness. Keeping your eyes closed. Take one more cycle of breath. This time, flow the awareness down the body and see what feels better, what feels different. Maybe something in the spine, since we did all the twisting. Maybe something in the low back area because of the massage. And when you recognize the work that you put in, go ahead and wiggle fingers and toes, roll out wrists and ankles, and then gather yourself up and take a full body stretch. Big inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, knees into the chest. Big squeeze here. And then without any rushing, we're going to roll over onto the right side, using the right arm as a pillow. Take this moment here to get heavy and to hit the reset button. To take a cycle of breath and gather up what you need for the rest of your day. And to exhale anything you wish to leave behind that shouldn't follow you off the mat. When you have what you need, slowly rise up to a seated position, sitting up nice and tall in the spine. We're going to practice that good posture of stacking the ears over the shoulders, over the hips, and placing the hands at heart center. You're going to press the thumbs right into the heart space and allow that pressure to be a gentle reminder to always do kind things, both for yourself and for others. Thank you for doing something kind for yourself today by taking this class, by finding movement and stillness, and by working on that very best version of you inside and out. It is my honor to lead you through class. Namaste.